Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our mayoral open mic event. We're excited to hear from all our candidates this morning and hear ideas from how they plan to make St. John's a world-class city. For those of you in the room who don't know me, my name is Andrea Stack, and I'm the Vice Chair of the St. John's Board of Trade. We want to thank our partners this morning, the Telegram and the Canadian Home Builders Association. Today's session is being streamed on Facebook Live and by the Telegram and recorded by Rogers Television. We got a little bit of housekeeping. Around the corner to my left down this way are the coffee tea station as well as the washrooms. And it is my pleasure now to turn our event this morning over to your moderator for this morning. It's Barb Sweet. She's the senior reporter with the Telegram, and Steve Bartlett. Barb and Steve.
Good morning, everyone. We're happy to be part of this. So we're going to decide who goes first. We're going to start with the deputy mayor candidates first, and we're going to draw straws. And whoever draws the long straw can choose to go first or last. So we're just going to,
How your vision for making a better city.
Okay, well, can I go first and then I'll
Absolutely.
get it out of the way?
So the question we want everyone to answer is how will you make St. John's a world-class city? That's the question we want everyone to answer. Okay. And I need my straws back.
Good stuff.
So Michelle
I have kids.
will go first, and she'll be answering what will you do to make St. John's a world-class city?
Okay. I think that Newfoundland and Labrador is a political gold mine. I think that we're in a very unique opportunity in each particular ward to bypass all barriers of provincial, federal, and municipal politics and bring it back right to the individual. By making us a first-class, world-class city is by making sure that we can reach each individual and that we are keeping them engaged and we're addressing what their needs are, and that's going to happen through the municipalities. For example, we have a high baby boom population. This is a great opportunity to make sure that we can protect our housing and make sure that we use a generational program similar to what has gone on in Germany so that we can make sure that the seniors have a good quality of life, because when it comes to the baby boomers, we can be the first to make sure that their services are in place and making sure that those seniors are going to reconnect with our youth, because the situation that we are currently in right now with drugs, alcohol, a disconnect in family, lack of education or people attending school, social anxiety can be fixed by going back to the old, by making sure that seniors are reconnected with the youth and doing so through town hall events. It will also make us a first-class city by making sure that emergency practices are constantly in place, by making sure we have the right connections if there is an emergency on ground, making sure that people are prepared, making sure that people do know where it is that they do have to go. When we deal with the worst case scenario first, making sure that those answers are prepared and ready, that means that anything that we get hit with, we will be ready for. Another way to make us a first-class, world-class city is to make sure that we as a province and here in the city can have all municipalities implement what it is that the City of St. John's is doing. And a way to be able to do that is by going back into our city map that's broken down into smaller sections, putting overlaying see-through maps like a flood map zone on top of that, breaking down those each individual small sections, finding out what the demographics are, and from that we will be able to map out how exactly we're going to be able to provide the services as they're needed on ground in the most cost-effective manner, from dealing from the individual, their needs, and to be able to do so under a plan where we will bypass all barriers, jurisdictions, and mandates that are preventing action from happening by ensuring that those services are provided similar to what the federal government had brought in by getting the seniors to be able to provide hours into back into our community. I also think that we can become a first-class place by bringing the UN in here. The reason why I want the UN in here is by international law. All across the board, we're in debt. We're under financial warfare. We're living under climate change and under food security. By making sure that Newfoundland is the first that brings in all of the best minds for an international way that we can combat our problems, ensuring that we have a future society that is good quality, good education, and done in a manner that is not dealing with mandates or barriers or jurisdictions, but done in a common sense way with how people need it delivered, how it is that they would be able to learn, and how they would be able to maintain a good quality of life. It's not difficult dealing with the individual. It's not difficult at all. We've been living into repeated messages and mantras for so long that we've lost our fighting Newfoundlander mentality, and that fighting Newfoundlander mentality is the way that we're going to get back to a first-class society. Thank you. Is that good? Okay.
Okay, so next up to answer the question of what you're going to do to make St. John's a world-class city is Sheila O'Leary.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you to St. John's Board of Trade and all the partners who've made this fantastic opportunity available to us as candidates. I'm certainly honoured to offer some of my successes and my platform for Deputy Mayor. These include planning, business growth, built heritage, environmental stewardship, transportation, and multi-level government cooperation. So building healthy, inclusive communities is core to my belief system, and it's something I've worked on extensively in my role as City Councillor and as community advocate. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities has identified affordable housing as the top priority, and I am enthusiastic about creating new models of smaller builds and supportive co-housing concepts that can support quality living for our growing senior demographic. Communities that promote affordability while supporting diversity, accessibility, and mental health helps to improve everyone's quality of life. This includes mixed-use neighbourhoods, accessible recreation, including walking and bike trails, playgrounds, animal parks. These are the things that residents want. After 6 years, I successfully lobbied for tree regulations in our landscaping requirements. Aside from beautification, our urban forest provides well-known environmental, economic, and social benefits to our residents. Preventing urban sprawl through density in appropriate areas is key to optimal urban planning. The Northeast Avalon houses the bulk of the province's small and medium-sized businesses, and we need to support local, sustainable business. We need to attract and extend opportunities to our new immigrant community, and I have demonstrated leadership through the creation of the City of St. John's Welcoming Mixer for both business and newcomers. I support clear and understandable regulations for business, increased partnerships, and a collaborative relationship between city and business. When we think about business, we need to think about our cultural assets. For the thousands of visitors who flock to our city every year, arts and culture are a major attraction. While non-renewable resources such as the oil industry are no doubt a huge economic benefit to St. John's in the short term, we need to set seeds on renewable resource for the future and for the long term. We as Newfoundlanders are historically prone to waiting for that big saviour. We're all waiting for that big financial windfall. And I believe that we need to turn our focus to supporting sustainable industries such as the local food and agriculture industry, cultural production, and experiential ecotourism. As North America's oldest city, preserving our built heritage is vital to our economic sustainability, and I have been at the forefront of this movement and will continue to lobby for changes that will protect our significant built heritage. I believe that building a true trust foundation that can purchase structures with adapted reuse potential and commercial resale is how many cities have successfully retained their history. In 2011, I led the investigation and lobby to reinstate the Environmental Advisory Committee, which had long been forgotten at City Hall. And since then, this committee has dealt with a myriad of environmental issues, including wetland preservation and support for getting tougher on trash. I've been very outspoken in my support for the municipality's Newfoundland and Labrador resolution for a ban on single-use plastic bags, and have supported the safer and cleaner automated garbage collection service soon coming to the City of St. John's. My eyes are also set on converting our landfill's methane gas emissions into reusable energy. I want to help create a transit model that is efficient, affordable, and works for all residents. People might recall that I did not support the recent budget because of the increase in transit fares. As the existing Ward 4 councillor, traffic calming measures constitute over 60% of my constituent calls. I support roundabouts, traffic calming, and grassroots efforts in neighbourhoods that address safety, and I have had great success in speed mitigation efforts in areas of Ward 4, including Airport Heights and Kenmount Terrace. I've been an active partner with municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador since 2009. Regional development is our future, and stronger, proactive relations with provincial and federal governments are the key to making changes in every area of governance. As a natural leader, a team player, and an out-of-the-box creative thinker, I have been a proven, dedicated, energetic, and active voice on council since 2009. With my council experience and my strong desire to provide a safe, healthy, and economically viable city to all residents, I am excited to step up and offer myself for a stronger leadership role as Deputy Mayor for the City of St. John's. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the deputy mayoral candidates. And now we'll proceed on to the mayoral candidates and another straw draw.
There you go.
Okay, so we'll go alphabetical again. So that would be Mr. Breen picks up first. Okay. Okay. So I think, hold your straw.
Sure.
You got the shortest one. You got the.
Had the longest one.
You got the longest one. Thanks. So you get to choose whether you go first.
I'll go first.
Okay. Yeah. And so you had the second longest one. So you want to go last? Or you want to go after?
I'll go last. Somebody got to be last.
Okay. Okay. So it'll be. Sorry for having my back to the audience here. It'll be. You're going to go first. Renee Sharpe's going to go first. Mr. Breen's going to go second, and Mr. Wells is going to go third. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name is Renee Sharpe, and I'm so happy to be running for mayor right now because I get the opportunity to speak with all of you. I've had the opportunity to speak with the community, and I'm feeling very grateful here before you. And when we talk about St. John's as one of the best cities in the world, what's exciting about our city is that we already have everything that we need to become the best city in the world. We have all of the expertise. We have the communities working towards making the place safer, more vibrant, focusing on arts and community. We have the urban planners that are smart and ready to be used as, to be brought in to the forefront with the City Council to say, how can we make this city safer, more vibrant, move forward with economic growth, revitalize the empty spaces that we have in the downtown core. This is what I do as a leader. I bring in the expertise in the community. I work collaboratively with the experts, and we move forward in such a way, which is very exciting. It's a very exciting position to be in. So I've had the privilege and opportunity to travel around the world and see some of the greatest cities in the world. I'm a welder, so I've had the opportunity to make enough money and go travel, and I've backpacked just this winter actually all around India, throughout Europe. I've been to Thailand. I've seen a lot of the greatest cities, and what we can do is look to the greatest cities and take note. What do they do to make a creative, vibrant, economically successful, livable city for their citizens? What do they do to work towards a vibrant dignity to life? We have that here, but we need to work. We need to move forward in a way that everyone is included. We absolutely deserve a dignity to life. So let's think about what they have. What they have are livable spaces. They have affordable housing. They have green spaces. They have food sustainability. They have a downtown core that's exciting and vibrant and brings all walks of life together. When we take away the barriers for people who want to start up small businesses and revitalize and use the empty lots that we have in St. John's and the surrounding areas, let's go for it. Let's make sure that we're all included and have a space where we can hang out. When I was in Italy, there were all these older women in beautiful fur coats hanging out in public in courtyards, drinking delicious coffee, and all walks of life are coming around, they're playing board games. I want that in St. John's. We could absolutely do that. And we think, well, you know, let's move forward from just overpriced restaurants and tourist boutiques that are not actually for us. Let's create a space that is vibrant for youth, for seniors, for our newcomers, for Indigenous people. I have 2 minutes left, thank you. So, again, working collaboratively with the communities who are putting in the work, that is what I do. Let's focus on communities who are working with at-risk youth. Thrive. They've had a history of bringing in peer mentorship with a focus on the trades. And again, I'm interested in this as a proud woman in the trades. Let's have a mentorship program where the youth are building greenhouses, moving towards food sustainability. Let's celebrate their efforts, bring everyone into the community, and have them cook for us. Have them cook for the seniors. Have them cook for Indigenous people. Have them cook for the most at-risk people. Bring everyone together. Celebrate our arts and culture. Let's stop cutting the funding to our arts. Let's celebrate the arts. Let's move forward and take note from the greatest cities in the world who prioritize safety for the people, because that's what we're talking about. If everyone is safe, we will be a vibrant city. We will move towards harm reduction strategies that move towards better access to services for people with mental health and addiction issues. Are you bummed out about dirty needles in our green spaces? Me too. So let's move forward and make sure we have safe boxes for people who are drug users to put their dirty needles. Let's move forward and make sure we have a safe injection site for people who are using drugs so we can reclaim our green spaces and so we can make sure that our most at-risk people are taken care of, right? Let's end homelessness in St. John's. We will not be vibrant or the best city if we don't have a solid poverty reduction plan. I'm very thankful for the expertise that already exists on council that are moving towards this. Let's continue moving towards this. Let's move towards accessible, affordable housing. Let's move towards all people's voices being included, because we can be the best city in the world if we make sure everyone's safe, people have a dignity to life, and we can absolutely do this. Time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, candidate. And next up, we will have Danny Breen.
Well, thanks very much, and thank you to the Board of Trade and Home Builders Association and the Telegram for organizing this event this morning. A very interesting question on how we can continue to make St. John's one of the greatest, a world-class city. Many of the cities in the world that are world-class have a thing in common. They're recognized as being world-class. And St. John's is a unique city, unique from any other, really, and certainly has the basis to be world-class and the reputation that it is a world-class city. World-class cities are built by world-class citizens working in world-class ways. When you look at St. John's in Newfoundland, Verafin, Enactus, Fortis, Centre for Marine Simulation, all world-class, built by passionate and brilliant people, and all built right here. But we have so much more. We have vibrant world-class people. Our athletes, artists, musicians, craftspeople have made our city and culture world-class and bring us tremendous tourism potential. So we're starting on making St. John's a world-class, more of a world-class city with a solid foundation. So there's 3 questions. How do we do more of it? How do we show it off more? And what role does the city play in it? So doing more of it requires focus and coordination. In my platform, I have outlined 3 particular pieces that will help us achieve greater economic gains and a better reputation. First, I will drive the creation of a St. John's Economic Development Corporation. Within the first 100 days of becoming mayor, I will convene an economic summit to focus our energies. From this, I will forge the creation of a dedicated economic development corporation created with existing resources, which will bring together entrepreneurs and business leaders to help achieve more in both growth and traditional sectors. I've already approached a leading St. John's business person to lead this initiative. Better supporting economic development means lessening the tax burden on all taxpayers in the city, Keeping taxes low is also achieved through creating a culture of efficiency throughout all the city's operations. Secondly, I will drive the creation of a downtown development strategy, addressing issues such as minimum property standards with a focus on livability, and will make downtown more attractive for all: students, young families, retail business people, urban professionals, restaurateurs, and bar owners. Downtown is the centerpiece of our city and its economic and social driver. A revitalized downtown core contributes to the city's confidence and to its regional, national, and international appeal. Thirdly, I will lead the charge to streamline and improve the city planning and development department. I know many people in this room want and need this to be addressed. And I also know that we have to welcome and encourage investment in our city, or that investment will move elsewhere. I fully commit to this, completing a review of the planning process from initial inquiry to final approval. Creating greater certainty in the planning and development process means better support for business and economic development. It is also important that all developers operate on a level playing field where the same rules apply to all. The second question is, how do we let others know that we are continuing to build a world-class city? We need to attract and retain our youth who are making lifelong decisions on where to buy houses, build careers, and have their families. We build a city based on arts, culture, and heritage community that works directly with their mayor and council, again in a respectful and productive way, to advance that aspect of the city. We build a city based on a move from municipal plan way of thinking to a sustainability plan method, one that accounts for environmental realities such as climate change. We need to ensure we continue to make our city greener to ensure our future sustainability. We need to move from a single source resource-based economy to a diversified one, and one that has cultural sustainability, including heritage, built right in. One that recognizes the demographic challenges that we have before us and a plan to deal with those challenges into the future. Finally, what is the city's role? To be a leader where it can be, such as better coordinating economic development resources, preserving heritage and culture, being a welcoming and inclusive and attractive community. The city must also be a leader in developing and forging positive, mutually beneficial relationships with other levels of government and with other municipalities. To attract and retain young people, we need to have a vibrant city that provides the opportunity for work-life balance through recreational facilities, trails, parks, and other amenities. To be an active participant where it should be, such as supporting community organizations as they deliver needed services with limited resources, and pressing other levels of government to give us the flexibility to address matters such as noise control, litter, and other things that can make our city less enjoyable. And I am getting the sign to say that my time is up. Thank you very much. My name is Danny Breen.
Thank you very much. And for our last person to answer the question of what will you do to make St. John's a world-class city, we have Andy Wells.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm also pleased to be here today. And I got to confess, when I hear the term world-class in the context of what's going on in Newfoundland now, I kind of get a few hives break out, because we were told some time ago that we had a world-class project which didn't quite work out that way. But I do believe and what we're talking about here is the fundamental economic question. If you have a vibrant economy, you develop the resources necessary through reasonable levels of taxation to address many of the issues that the other speakers have talked about here today. Nothing exemplifies, in my mind, the fundamental bankruptcy of the economic development arguments that we're having in this city now than this controversy between East versus West. It's counterproductive. It's zero-sum economics. It has nothing to the value of the economy. We should be stating clearly what the rules of development are so the game is understood. There should be no subsidies for roundabouts. If somebody wants to put a roundabout out in the West End for their particular developments, they can go ahead and do it. Business should not be subsidized. There should be no hockey subsidies, for example, as well. We need to get to the fundamentals. If you want to talk about what makes a city great, there are certain things that cities do. They get the fundamentals right. They have low levels of taxation, for instance. I found a great quote about taxation. The art of taxation consists of plucking the goose to get the most feathers with the least amount of squawking. Well, going around the city during this campaign, I've heard a lot of citizens complaining, squawking, that the city has taken too many feathers from them, and we've got to get taxation back to where it is reasonable. And that's my most fundamental commitment to the citizens of St. John's. The regulatory process. Great cities have good regulatory processes. They understand what business wants and what people who are trying to do small developments and large developments generally need. This council has proven itself fundamentally bankrupt. Whether it's a small project like getting a permit to occupy a restaurant takes 12 weeks, or a major development that I had an occasion to have knowledge of a few days ago, a multi-million-dollar development that could create millions of dollars or hundreds of jobs, millions of dollars of economic activity. And it was almost dismissed by City Hall. So there will be a shake-up at City Hall. The process will be reformed so people can get on with improving their lot and improving their lives. We have a lot going for us in this city. We have a great harbour. And I was reminded, by the way, that I got the money to widen the harbour to bring in the cruise ships. I'd forgotten about that. This council gave $500,000 to the Harbours Board for some strange reason to keep us out. And it was a strange thing. We have a great airport. We have a lot going for us, but we've got to mobilize through municipal government the means to take advantage of what we have, what capacities we have. NATI, the Association of Technical Industries, informed me that we have a 1.6 billion high-tech industry in this province. That's the key to economic growth. That adds value. I'll end by a simple quote, which I think sums up what great cities have done to make themselves great and their people great. The freedom to do the best and to make the best better is a freedom that goes deep to the dignity of man. The greatest function of government is to create a climate where people, generally, and enterprise can flourish. And that is the fundamental commitment I'm making here. I disagree with not a lot that the previous speakers have said, but the most important thing in achieving any level of greatness is to understand what the limits of government are and what we can do to create a climate where citizens and people have a chance. And in the past 8 years in this city, the citizens of St. John's have not had a chance, and I've gotten it constantly when I'm going around day to day talking to people. People are fed up. They want a better deal. They deserve a better deal. And if we're going to make St. John's a world class, I'll end with the phrase, if you're going to make world class, St. John's world class, you've got to start with the fundamentals: reasonable taxation, reasonable regulations, and an opportunity for people to develop their own capacities, to build their own lives, and to make a contribution. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming today. I want to thank all of our candidates here. Barb, thank you for doing it. But I'd like to do another formal round of applause for all of our candidates. I would like to thank the Board of Trade, the Telegram, on behalf of everybody here, on behalf of our partners here. We'd like to thank you for coming out today. We have a great crowd. I'd like to thank everybody who's online for joining us. I'd like to let you know that we do have another event planned, and it's a municipal candidates pitch. We're holding it on Tuesday, on the 19th, at the Comfort Inn at 8:30 to 9:30 for all of the St. John's candidates who are throwing their hats into the ring. We'd like for you to come out again and hear their pitches. We are not going to have questions right now, but we'd like for everybody to stick around and mingle a little bit more. I think there's some more coffee, and if you have individual